Hey Bobcats, I just wanted to send you a quick video to talk to you about a few COVID protocol updates. I know you all are teaching right now, but when you get a break or when you get home this evening, I hope that you will watch it. I didn't want to pull you guys in for a meeting last minute because I know you have plans after school. So this is how we're going to chat today. I did want to give you a few updates. As our numbers are continuing to grow in the county, there are a few areas that we're going to tighten up on our campus. And so I wanted to make sure I was getting the same message out to everybody. And so one of the things that I am needing us to tighten up just for increased safety, I want y'all to understand that I know that we're working with children. The last thing I want is for our school to not feel like a school, but I also want to keep all of you safe for your family members and for yourself, as well as our kids safe. And so that's why we're tightening up a few areas. One of the things I wanted to talk with you about are our mask breaks. We've been seeing kind of an increase in students not wearing their masks and coming very close together to play. And I know this is hard. We're talking about, this is difficult for our 3, 4, and 5-year-olds. This is difficult for our 10 and 11-year-olds. But anything we can do to start tightening up on that, where kids understand that if they're going to take a mask break, they need to be distanced from other students as much as they can. And if they want to do things like run around each other, they need to have their mask on, which I know we don't want for a mask break. So anything you can do to help keep kids out of each other's faces during those mask breaks will be really helpful for our whole campus. And I appreciate you all trying to be on top of that. The other thing is we've kind of seen an increase in some grades where we are sharing balls at recess, like playing football and things like that. And I wanted to make sure you all knew this is not something I had shared with you. This is something we've been working through with special areas, but it sounds like you guys might need this information too. For balls to be used at PE, students are using individual balls. So when they're doing throwing and catching, they're throwing it against the wall back to themselves. And then those balls are cleaned. Our coaches are having to clean those before they go into the next classroom. So we don't have a situation where kids are passing a ball back and forth to each other where lots of hands are touching it. That's not going to be something we can do yet at Bell. So we need to find another game to play that's not passing back a ball back and forth. Otherwise, check with Coach Hamilton about how she does it and how we get those things cleaned if you're wanting to use a ball so that she can help you with that. But there are very specific protocols for how we use shared equipment. And so we're trying not to do that. I also want to remind you for our books, we are quarantining those still. So when students turn those back in the classroom, they need to sit out for 5 days before you put them back into your library for recirculation from your kids. And so we need to think about all equipment that way. We're not to the point yet where students can share pencils or be throwing balls back in between each other. If you all have any questions about any of that, you know where to find me. I'm happy to talk you through anything that may be happening on your grade level that you still want to allow kids to do, but you need a different kind of way to make that happen. I'm here to talk that through with you. Just let me know how I can help you still keep a really great classroom atmosphere and family atmosphere, both in your classroom and at mask break. I'm happy to troubleshoot with you guys. We need to keep trying to keep kids apart as much as possible. And you guys are doing a really great job with that because I know that's hard. I realize kids cannot be 6 feet apart in your classrooms, but keep doing what you're doing and being diligent about trying to have some separation between kids because that's going to be very important as we move forward throughout our Thanksgiving and Christmas times as we're starting to see numbers increase from kids being exposed at home. So please help us with that. If your students are not using the dots yet in the hallway, I know that makes your line forever long, but please spend that time this week really getting them on the dots and trying to use those and keeping some distance between each other. That's going to help keep you safe as well as your students. And remember, our ultimate goal is to keep this building open for our students and be able to do it in a safe way. And the last thing I wanted to talk with you about, this is going to be the biggest change for us on campus because you guys are already doing, I know, everything that you can to keep kids safe. But as an adult in our building, I've felt very safe keeping my mask on. I know that I've got my mask on at all times. I am not, I'm making sure it's up above my nose and down below my chin. And so I've been feeling pretty safe walking into meetings and things like that with other adults. But one of the areas that we're needing to tighten up on, and it's not based on Bell numbers, it's based on numbers in our surrounding schools that are being hit harder than we are. We're noticing a big increase in entire grade levels, teachers having to be out because we're not staying 6 feet apart. And so I don't want that to be Bell's future. I know that you all understand and appreciate that you are essential workers. You are that adult in our kids' life that's that consistent person. And we do not want students not having 2 weeks of instruction because we've got close contact and now we're shutting down grade levels or multiple people are off campus. And so in order to really keep that down, it's going to be very important for adults in our building, because we know adults can transmit much easier to each other than child to adult or children to children. We are going to need to try to be 6 feet apart at all times. This is a change for me as well. This means in PLC, I'm not going to be having you all come to look at one poster huddled together. This means that in my office, when people come to talk to me, we're going to have to respect like the four corners of my office. This means at lunches, if we are unmasked to eat, that we really are 6 feet apart. Sometimes our tables are not 6 feet apart. Walking in the hallway, trying to be 6 feet apart. This is a huge change for me also, because I have not been doing that. I've been feeling pretty safe with masks and hand washing and keeping some distance, but this is a next step for us, especially right now, moving in throughout the rest of 2020 as our cases are increasing out in the neighborhood and out in our community. I did want to say, we have had staff that have had to go home in quarantine because of that close contact. And it's not their fault. So I want to make sure I'm being really clear that you understand, if you end up having to self-report and you end up having to be home, that is not your fault. I am not ever going to look at you as if you did something wrong. There's a big taboo on it right now, but I know in my heart that everybody here is doing everything that they need to keep each other safe. And so I promise you, if you end up somebody that is needing to be in quarantine, I will do everything I can to make sure that you feel comfortable with that and that you don't feel like you've done something wrong. Because I think there's a guilt factor with having to stay home, is what I'm gathering from our friends who have had to. But it's not your fault. But one of those areas that we really can tighten up to make sure that you're doing everything you can is to get 6 feet apart as adults. And so I will be practicing that and modeling that as well. And I will be walking around as I normally do, talking with all of you, trying to help make that happen also. So please know if I give you a reminder in the hallway, oops, don't forget 6 feet apart, it's to help keep you guys safe. It's not because I'm judging, because this is going to be a big change for me also. But if we can do that, let's say we were eating lunch as an office team and we were all 6 feet apart when we ate, and I tested positive for COVID as an example. I would of course still tell my team, but knowing that we were really diligent about being 6 feet apart, whether we were in masks or not, means that I have now not wiped out our entire office team. Because that would impact everybody on campus. And so that's what we're talking about. I'm not saying don't eat lunch together and don't be together, but be extra aware of 6 feet apart from those people. I think during COVID right now, we're feeling a lot of separation from the people that we love. And so I'm not suggesting that you not come together. Just be extra diligent about that space. And I promise I'll do whatever I can to model that and change that behavior in myself as well. Those are the big things we can do. Adults 6 feet apart, kids as far apart as possible. Use those shields when you can. So if you've got partners coming together to read, pop a shield between them and make sure their masks are on. All of those things are going to help you sleep better at night, knowing you're doing the best you can. Mask breaks, be extra diligent, continue to be extra diligent. I know you're already doing that. And keeping kids with some separation while their masks are off, and making sure we're not sharing equipment such as balls, like footballs, basketballs, things like that. Thank you all so much. Sorry to come at you in the middle of the day, but those are kind of some new information I got at my principals meeting today on 3 areas that we can tighten up at Bell to continue to stay open and to continue to stay healthy. I appreciate all of you so much. Thank you for everything that you're doing during this very difficult year. It has not gone unnoticed. Thank y'all. Bye.